Namaskar and a very good evening to one and all present here. Let us begin today's session with a short prayer. Kindly join me in the prayer virtually.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापम् सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तु ते ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च मतिं स्वच्छामि मे सदा रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् यस्य तिष्ठे गृहे दीपं तस्य नास्ति दरिद्रता शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Thank you very much for joining me in the prayer. And now we shall officially begin with the session. I can see close to 1800 participants having already joined, and people are still joining. We will not wait for anyone, but we shall continue. I hope my screen is visible to all. And our topic today is National Curriculum Framework for School Education. This is Ms. Khyati Dwarkadas presenting the entire Ncf Se to all of you brilliant educators. So the pre-draft of the Ncf Se was placed for public comment on 6th April 2023. I'm going to take a quick test at the end of today's session. So I'd like you to pay full attention to the session. And Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan, the chairman of the National Steering Committee for Ncf, was appointed. And he submitted the Ncf Se to the Minister of Education, Government of India on 29 July 2023. So Ncf Se was released on 23rd August 2023. Before Ncf Se, we had Ncf Fs for the foundational stage come up in 2022. But now Ncf Fs is integrated in Ncf Se. Now, we already know that the NEP gave us the path to Ncf Fs and Ncf Se. So let us take a quick look at the vision of the NEP 2020. It aims at building access, equity, affordability, accountability, and quality. And salient features of the NEP you can see here for school education. So you can see the school design being 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 against the current 10 plus 2 system that we had before NEP came into place. The policy laid significant emphasis on ECCE. That is how the foundational stage gained a lot of importance. Achieving foundational literacy and numeracy became important. If you remember, all of us became, it became mandatory for all of us to be a part of FLN programs of Nishtha, Diksha, etc. Ram Bhavanji, I will definitely share the link in the chat box, but right now you need to pay attention. Emphasis on curricular aims, learning to happen through constructivism, multidisciplinary, holistic and integrated education, reduced curriculum content, it should not be a burden. राम भवन जी आपको मैं लिंक भेजूंगी चैट बॉक्स में बाद में सेशन के बाद अभी आप सेशन पे ध्यान दें promoting multilingualism and Indian languages, flexibility and choice of subjects at the secondary stage, integrating vocational education, medium of instruction, at least till grade 5 was to be the mother tongue. Up to grade 8, it was welcome. School accreditation system and assessment reforms with 360-degree holistic progress card. And then we have modular board exams. My voice, Snehlata, is not low, it is loud. Okay. So holistic education. NEP aims to promote a holistic and multidisciplinary approach to education, focusing on overall development of the students. It emphasizes the importance of not just academic knowledge, but also life skills, values, and vocational skills. Early childhood care, so right up to a child becoming 6 years of age, then NEP recognizes the aim and importance of giving early childhood care to a child. So what we used to have ECCE in the previous years is now foundational stage. Assessment reforms came in from rote learning to high-stake exams got abolished and competency-based continuous comprehensive evaluation systems took center stage. Higher education also emphasizes research and innovation. Teacher training, mandatory 50 hours of teacher training, which brings you and me both here together. And I'm happy to share that I have just received my certificate of achievement in Green Belt Lean Six Sigma in education. So this session's also been a blessing for me. My voice is not low. In case if it is low, a PSSC will inform me. Assessment in pre-independence era, you can see right from Vedic period, you had the Gurukul system, 5th century BC. You have the education in sanghas and collective groups. Then Mughal period, you have setting up of maktabs, madrasas, assessment, oral and no external agency examination. But the British brought in the Woods Dispatch. Okay, British brought in the Woods Dispatch. This was a monumental declaration of modern system of Indian education. It was after the Woods Dispatch that came in that the British started setting up a system of education to make babus, not educated Indians. 1857, we had the first matriculation exam. Then the Sadler Commission came up to set up the secondary and intermediate boards. So secondary is grade 10 or whatever you call that in those days. And intermediate is your grade uh, 12 at that point in time, because in the 1900s, there was nothing much beyond that. And Hartog Committee 1929 referred the failure of large candidates in matric assessment to only essay type answers. Now, the transforming the culture of assessment. So we can see that from continuous tracking of learning outcomes of each child, board examinations were to be made more flexible, assessment to focus on core competencies rather than rote learning, AI-based softwares to help track the progress of every student. National Assessment Center Parak will bring in greater synergy, self-assessment, peer assessment, 360-degree holistic assessment, and the National Testing Agency, NTA, would work to offer common aptitude tests and high quality education to all. Now you have the NEP, which emphasizes on transforming assessment for optimizing learning and development of all students with a focus on the features of assessment. What are they? Regular, formative, and competency based, promoting learning and development of students, focusing on assessment for learning, testing higher order skills like analytical skills, critical thinking, conceptual clarity, and helps the entire school system in revising continuously teaching learning processes to optimize learning. You see the school system that is completely redesigned. So I spoke to you already about Parak, the NCRT and the SCRT will be working into it on assessments. Learning will now become inquiry based, quizzes, role plays, etc. will all be portfolios, will all be a part of the 360-degree holistic progress card. AI-based software will be used by students to track their growth through school years. And multi-layered, multi-sources, everything is going to be a part of the holistic progress card. CBSE has recently released holistic progress cards for most classes. I'm sure you've gone through them. Okay. Well, coming to the National Assessment Center, Parak, performance assessment review analysis of knowledge for holistic development. That is Parak. It is a standard setting body under the Ministry of Education. Now look at this. When you are talking about technology integration, it is successful technology integration in education to enhance learning experience. You are providing a flexible learning environment to the student. And you are having equity and inclusion in education, addressing the needs of the marginalized and disadvantaged groups. So I have shown you images of equity and inclusion so that you are not in a fix towards the end of my session when I start testing you. Now you look at this. Previous NCFs, 1975, 88, 2000, 2005. And when we come to NEPs, previously you have 1968, 86, revised in 92, and final one in 2020. Now, NEP 2020 proposed a curriculum for early childhood and education, then a school education, a curriculum framework for teacher education, and one for adult education. And today we are discussing the curriculum framework for school education. Ncf Se is organized into 5 parts. Aim of school education, I think the technical team is quite sound. The audio is also quite clear. I received multiple confirmations in the chat that my audio is clear. If it is not, you may please log out and log in again. Part B is important cross-cutting themes. Part C is school subjects. Part D, school culture and processes. And Part E, ecosystem of schooling. So when you talk about salient features of the NCF, you have to keep in mind that it is child-centric approach to education where needs, interests, and abilities of students are at the forefront. And holistic development is where you talk about academic knowledge, but also on physical, emotional, social, and ethical development of the students. Now, there is something about flexibility, which allows teachers and schools to adapt the curriculum to local context and learners, diversity, multilingualism, where a child is allowed to be taught in the mother tongue, and inclusivity, where children with disabilities and marginalized communities have equal access to quality education. Now, in this, you need to remember just in the last 2 days, CBSE has come up with a circular for CWSN. Where should your ramp be placed? How many ramps should there be? How should your internal infrastructure be? How should your external infrastructure be? So if you've not read through that circular, I advise you to read through it. For professional development for teachers, they have to keep themselves fully updated. And obviously, 50 hours of continuous professional development is mandatory. Cultural and environmental access, NCF encourages integration of cultural and environmental awareness. Technology integration, use of digital tools and resources to enhance the teaching and learning. Sorry. And research and innovation. So NCF encourages research and innovation in education. Now, when we talk about experiential learning, it is clearly understood by us that experiential learning is the core cycle of experiential learning with hands-on activities that are promoted in the NCF with a strong emphasis on critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity among students. Education also needs to be interdisciplinary. So when I talk about interdisciplinary, it is not just subjects being interdisciplined, it is approaches being interdisciplined. Students connect to knowledge across different subjects, fostering deeper understanding of complex issues. NCF suggests changes in assessment methods, shifting from memorization or rote learning to continuous comprehensive assessment that evaluates a student's overall development, holistic progress. So you can quickly go through this from the vision of society set forth in the NEP to curricular areas, culture, and processes of NCF. This image I did pick up from the NCF itself. Now, this is my favorite. If you've done your PRP or CBP on the theory of knowledge, you would have covered a part of it. So this talks about the 6 pramans that we gain our knowledge from, right from pratyaksha, anuman, upaman, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, and shabda. So I'll show you what these pramans mean. And in each of the philosophies or darshan shastra, as we call them, all are not accepted. Different darshan shastra accept the different pramanas. So pratyaksha is a perception. You can see its points below. Anuman is an inference. It has purvavat, sheshavat, and samanyato drishta. Upaman is a comparison or analogy. Shabda is a verbal testimony with Aptavakya, Akankha, Yogyata, Saninnishi, Tatparya. Arthapatti is a presumption. This arthapatti is basically very useful in making assertion and reasoning type questions. And finally, you have anupalabdhi, which is a non-apprehension, prag bhav, pradvamsa bhav, anyonanya bhav, and atyantha bhav. So aims of school education for NCF, you have rational thought and autonomy, health and well-being, democratic participation, economic participation, cultural and social participation. So a society with individuals who are healthy, knowledgeable, and with capacities and values and dispositions to participate effectively and meaningfully in a democracy, economy, and culture would be a vibrant, pluralistic, and democratic knowledge society. Ncf Se also deals with what the NEP has told us. So NCF talks about the 5+3+3+4 school design, where in the foundational stage, you have two parts, Anganwadi, preschool, plus 2 years of the primary school, covering ages 3 to 8. The prep stage, grades 3 to 5, ages 8 to 11. Middle stage, grades 6 to 8, up to 14 years of a child's life. Secondary stage, one more time in two phases, grade 9 and 10 in the first phase and 11 and 12 in the second phase. So stages of a child development also we see. We are able to see infancy, early childhood, middle to late childhood, and adolescence, which is equally well covered in the 5+3+3+4 system. Now, there are 5 domains here which you must understand: cognitive, linguistic, physical, socio-emotional, and moral. So when you talk about cognitive, you can see over there in green, learning and processing of information, imagination, critical thinking, problem solving, reasoning, and memory. When you deal with language, you're talking about communication, learning and interpreting sounds, talking, vocabulary, written linguistic skills. Talking about physical, it is fine motor skills, gross motor skills, hand-eye coordination and balance. Socio-emotional is getting along with others, playing, social relations, self-esteem, understanding and express. This brings us to the 5 Kosh Vidya or the Pancha Kosh. You have Anandamay Kosh. Or let's start with the outer one. Annamay Kosh, physical health. Pranmay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vignanmay Kosh, and ultimately Anandmay Kosh, which brings you bliss. So Annamay Kosh and Pranmay Kosh talk about physical development, the fine and gross motor skills, sensorial perceptions, health, fitness, safety, hygiene. Manomay Kosh talks about socio-emotional development, ethical development, positive regard for natural environment. Vignanmay Kosh talks about cognitive development, understanding the world, language, communication, literacy, numeracy, thinking. And Anandmay Kosh talks about aesthetics and cultural development, expressing emotions through visual and performing art, positive learning habit. So NCF SE has certain curriculum guidelines for us. Sorry. They bring in positive transformations in Indian school systems, undergo rapid change in the knowledge landscape, workforce with deep human capacities and multidisciplinary capacities. Curriculum must be responsive to glorious unity and diversity of India. stress on holistic and integrated changes, and curricular area is used to explain a broader category. So when I talk about curricular area, I have such a big, broad perspective in front of me. I talk about language, I talk about math and computational thinking, science, social science, art education, interdisciplinary areas, physical education and well-being, as well as vocational education. Now, this is distinguished from discipline, field, and subject. These are the curricular areas. In each curricular area, NCF gives you disciplines. Under each discipline, they give you fields. And under each field, they give you a subject. So languages, you have the 3-language formula. One will be the mother tongue. Any other language, any 2 other languages other than the mother tongue, out of which 2 should be native to India. Now, for every curricular area, you will have curricular aims, you will have curricular goals, you will have competencies and learning outcomes. So, if you have read the curriculum of CBSE for grade 9 and 10 for this year, you will find this setup in the curriculum itself. If not, please refer to the curriculum of CBSE for grade 9 and 10 this year. Then learning standards have also been set up for 4 stages of schooling, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So foundational stage, multi-level play, activity-based, preparatory stage, having discovery in activity-based interactive classroom learning, middle stage, experiential learning, and secondary stage will always be multidisciplinary. So when you look at the foundational stage, I want you to take a quick look at the domains. The domains include physical development, socio-emotional, cognitive, ethical, aesthetic, cultural, language and literary, learning standards, all of that. And FLN would then include literacy, foundational literacy in the first language and in the second language, teaching learning materials, textbooks, play-based pedagogy, assessment, and the holistic progress card. So we no longer have a report card. We will now be having from this year onwards a holistic progress card. When you look at the prep stage, again, you have 2 languages there, math, art education, physical education, something called world around us. That's an interdisciplinary study area. Then you have work and pre-vocational skills, which are included in a part of World Around Us curriculum. You have short formal written assessments, teacher observations of student work, and regular formative assessments. Middle stages will have 3 languages now: math, science, social science, art education, interdisciplinary education, physical education and well-being, vocational education, and formal assessments. Secondary stage is divided into 2, 9, 10, and 11, 12. Curricular areas are grouped into 4. Choice of disciplines is in grade 11 and 12. This choice will slowly be extended to grade 9 and 10, but this is in the offing. It is not yet officially declared by the CBSE. It is only in the NCF as of now. So when we look at secondary stage phase 1, for grade 10 certification examination, you would need 3 languages: math, science, social science, art, environmental education, physical education, and vocational education as your curricular subjects. Grade 11 and 12 would have, I told you, choice of disciplines. So you have 2 languages. Subject 3, 4, 5, 6 will have group 2, 3, and 4. You choose at least 4 subjects from 2 of these groups. It could be art, PE, vocational subjects. It could be social science, history, geography, interdisciplinary areas. Or it could be math, computational thinking, science, physics, chem, bio. This also currently means, according to NCF, that if you are taking a physics, you need not take PCMB. You can take a P or a math too, and one could be a geography, and one could be a vocational education. You look at this makes like a proper chart. Plus, you have one optional subject you can take from any of the groups. But this is one more time in the offing, though the NCF mentions it. Subject combinations, you have a wide variety of combinations for each grade. You could take so many combinations and yet take a choice of your own. So what does this mean now? What are the implications of such a combination? You will have board exam. The one thing that people say is a myth that there will be no board exam for grade 10. That's a pure myth. There will be checkpoint board exam for grade 3, 5 and 8, which we are currently doing as SAFL. Grade 10 and 12 board exams are here to stay forever. So 10 curricular areas for grade 10, right from the beginning of the implementation of NCF. And you have other things for grade 11 and 12, as I showed you in the previous thing. Now, board exam will become easier, but assessment pattern will be genuine. It will be competency based. We will not have our children sitting and by-hearting textbooks. The application of the knowledge in those textbooks will become more important. Schools will have to be prepared. Why is this application taking time? Schools will have to be prepared to offer subjects from all group 2, 3 and 4 to the students. So if a child had to take a physics and a math with art education and PE, you need as many teachers to teach so many subjects to senior secondary sections. Then within 10 years, schools should offer many more subjects covering all the curricular areas. Those of you who are still facing a sound problem can exit and rejoin. The secondary stage has been divided into 2 phases, and in 10 years in a single secondary stage where students have a choice and flexibility from grade 9. Study in annual and 2-year pattern should move to a semester or an annual design. So in between, the CBSE did suggest it to the Supreme Court of India about a semester pattern, but nothing has been finalized till date. And board exams should be prepared to offer certification through modular examinations. So in between, we also have the credit framework coming up, the national credit framework. So you get points, you get credits which carry forward. Vision of society, you can see curricular areas, desirable knowledge, capacities, values, dispositions, aim of school education, vision and purpose, finally vision of society. Grade 10 completion, you have to take 2 essential courses from those that I showed you. So these are the courses. 2 essential courses from each of the curricular areas would be required once it gets implemented. So this I will forward because this is not yet implemented. Now NCF is talking about aims of education, curricular goals, competencies to learning outcomes. And for every curricular goal, there is a competency assigned. You will see it in your curriculum as well this time. For every CG is a curricular goal. And the curriculum that we have for the secondary school this year talks about curricular goal, competencies, learning outcomes, and pedagogical strategies. So the board is moving forward in this direction. So look at the competencies for grade 6, 7, and 8. From lower order competencies, we move to higher order competencies. Then textbooks are also equally important. So you have syllabus content. You need to know who the writers of the textbooks are. Any random person cannot be writing a textbook. So there is always a writing review and a pilot run for each textbook that we get. So this year, grade 6 has got new textbooks. Now, Smriti is a very, very important concept. So in ancient India, there used to be a lot of emphasis on Smriti. Smriti is learning through memory. Now, both long-term memory, short-term memory, and working memory are very, very important in case of Smriti. And why do we need Smriti? If I need to remember that I have a session at Patliputra Sahodaya School Complex at 4 p.m. today, I need Smriti. But I am not testing my Smriti. I am testing my competency by being able to sit here and talk. Right? So basic Smriti is important. The major components of a teaching plan: competencies, learning outcomes, intended objectives, teacher-directed, teacher-guided, student-led activities, prior understanding of the students on which of choice, content and material to be used, duration and sequence of activities, classroom arrangements, specific strategies of students who need extra help, methods of assessment. So release of responsibility. Earlier it used to be teacher-led. I do, you watch. Then we do together. Then guided practice, you do, I watch. And finally, independent practice, student-led, you do it alone by yourself. This is what we need to be with. Student-led responsibility. So this I have already covered with you. I've covered all of this with you. But an important part of Ncf Se is also library. And most of the time we ignore the library. Library has curricular processes, curriculum associated processes, and organizational processes. And library things, you can take a quick screenshot if you're interested. You need to have all of this in your library. So I managed to get a quick screenshot for you from the Ncf Se for school library. Then there's a lot on the school library, but I'll show you what Ncf Se talks about for different subjects. So for math education, they have the aims and they have the nature of knowledge. Similarly, science education has aims and the nature of knowledge. Social science aims, nature of knowledge. Art education, aim and nature of knowledge. So this is a verse from the Natya Shastra. Yato hasta tatho drishti, yato drishti tatho mana, yatho mana tatho bhava, yatho bhava tatho ras. So this is a very important verse from the Natya Shastra. And it is taking you into different art forms, what you see, what you understand, what you interpret, to what you integrate. Where the hand goes, there follows a vision. Where the vision goes, there follows a thought. Where the mind goes, there follows a feeling. Where the feeling goes, there follows aesthetic pleasure. Ncf Se also talks about yoga in education. It talks about physical education, art education. So they talk about the Ashtanga yoga. Then they talk about a specific school culture with relationships, symbol, arrangement, and practices. Integrated approach into ECCE. I showed you curricular goals a little earlier. There's something I wanted to show you. There is a teacher's handbook, which is a part of the Ncf Se. So all those of you who are really interested in the National Curriculum Framework for School Education, there is a part of the Ncf, which is 3.2. Go through that. It is a very relevant topic for all those of us who are really interested. Then importance of practice, which is organized, regular and steady practice, which is very much recommended by Ncf Se. Importance of questioning. So the kind of questions that come from the Shishya to the Guru and the kind of responses that go from the Guru to the Shishya. Ncf has taken this back to Adi Shankaracharya. Then the ways of the Guru. So Aurobindo has spoken about it and Ncf has taken it. But look at what they say. Taittiriya Upanishad says the teacher is the first letter, student is the last, knowledge is the meeting place, and instruction is the link. Then Ncf does talk about the Panchadi, the 5-stepped approach, Aditi, Bodh, Abhyas, Prayog, and Prasar. By now, all of us are aware of this Panchadi, 5-step learning process. Mostly we follow it in Ncf FS, where you start from introduction to conceptual understanding to practice to application to expansion. Then importance of concentration. Like I told you, importance of smriti. There is right in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Ncf has shown you there is importance of concentration. It is a psychological process. No rituals or ceremonies are required. It is free from any doctrine. Cultivation of the power of concentration is independent of any activity necessitating faith, belief, or religious prescription. So how is the Ncf going to revamp our traditional design? You have the curricular areas. I showed you the subjects in the curricular areas, the exam pattern at semester level, modular board exam or semester board exam, subject-wise content proposal, local, national, regional, global, combination of NEP with NCF. So both have common points as I showed you right from the beginning. Then you have collaboration, learner-centric, adaptive, inclusive, prepare students not just for exams, but life beyond the classroom. And through the NCF, we are going to unleash the potential of the NEP. Monitoring, evaluation, plus we have stakeholder engagement. So various stakeholders, including teachers, parents, students, educational experts, are all a part of the alignment process. Resource allocation, funding, infrastructure will be very categorically assigned. Awareness campaigns, public awareness campaigns can help inform parents, students, and others about the changes brought about in the NEP. I don't want you to end here, though the PPT ends, but I don't want you to end. I want to share a quiz and I want everyone to join my quiz. Just give me a moment. I want everyone to join my quiz. The fun is only when you participate. So go to joinmyquiz.com. You go to joinmyquiz.com and the code is 208018. I'm waiting for you to join. I had told you I will take a test and I really want you to join. It is just going to give you a great insight. Very good, Chaudhary, Rajiv Tripathi, Sadaf. It will give you a greater insight into what the session was all about. We can see the leaders. Poonam Chaudhary and Sadaf are on top. Arzu Alam has come to the third place. I'm very happy for those of you who've joined. So the third place is a very well contested place. Poonam Chaudhary and Sadaf were at number 1 and 2 and they stay there only. Nikita Anand and Vidya Sinha are contesting the third place. Sadaf has come first currently and Poonam Chaudhary is at number 2. Poonam Chaudhary's got a place back. But Vidya Sinha is at number 2. Varshangini Gupta is at number 3 and Sadaf has moved to 4th place. And Sadaf has come back to the 2nd place. But Varshangini Gupta has moved to the 1st place. And Poonam Chaudhary overtakes Varshangini. What a pleasure it is to see you participate wholeheartedly. So while the quiz is about to end, submit your questions, answers quickly. Now look at your positions here. Poonam Chaudhary first, Rajiv Tripathi has come second, with Vidya Sinha in the third place. Congratulations to each one of you. And as a teacher, I can see the accuracy level of every student here. Nonetheless, I shall stop sharing the screen and I shall leave the floor open to questions, comments, anything that you wish to ask. Please feel free. You wish to leave a comment, wish to leave a feedback. Okay, I'll move to the chat so I can see what you all are writing. I hope you enjoyed yourselves this afternoon. And before we exit, I would love to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Rajiv Ranjan Sinha sir and Incha Rahman ma'am for inviting me to take on this session on Ncf Se at Patliputra Sahodaya School Complex. And of course, this session would not have been successful without the participation of all of you brilliant educators. Wishing you all a very happy Independence Day and a Raksha Bandhan. Oh, sorry, Bishakha Samantha. You just had to click on joinmyquiz.com and there was a number, that code, which I did announce. And so many participants joined in. Thank you, Ravi Shankar Pathak. That was indeed a very nice compliment. So if you have any questions, if you need any help, I'd love to uh, be of help to you. So the quiz is over now. Ranjit Kumarji, the quiz is over. Now you can join. Makes me feel good that you like the session so much. Looking forward to seeing you in more such sessions. One more time, expressing deep gratitude to Rajiv Ranjan Sinha sir, as well as Insha Rahman ma'am, as well as somebody who's hosting this session technically behind the scenes today. And Patliputra Sahodaya School Complex for inviting me to take this topic. To all of you wonderful educators who've been very participative in today's session. And of course, looking forward to seeing you in future sessions. Wishing you a very happy Independence Day and a very happy Raksha Bandhan. Okay, somebody still wants the link to the prayer? Just a moment, I'll share it. I'm happy you're enchanted by the prayer. Indeed, my pleasure. Thank you, everyone. See you in a future session. Goodbye. God bless.